that missed practice today because of nagging injuries, something like that. That was really one of those fortuitous things that, Cornelius is back. He needs a little extra work. So, we swapped him down because Cornelius is a really good tackle for us as well. So we just feel comfortable with that.
And then today's the first time we're talking to Jack since kind of everything in June.
Yep.
You made the decision to find him, but how has everything gone since then? Just with
It's been cool. It really has. I mean, he's been great about it. He accepted it. And, and he understood that it had nothing to do with his points of view, and it just his interpretation more so than anything else, and that's why it was done.
Obviously, there's a lot of focus on some of the other defensive ends in light of Chase's situation. But we've seen James Smith-Williams and Casey Toohill. How about the other younger guys? Obviously, you're trying to figure out, sort through that group, the Bradley King, Tony, Rotimi. What have you kind of seen from those guys?
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do, is sort through and see which one of those guys have stepped up. Bradley King's done a really nice job. He's a heavy-handed guy that's physical. Rotimi Boomy is also a heavy-handed guy who's physical as well. You look at Shaka. Shaka's a situational pass rusher type, very explosive off the ball. We saw that in the game, getting around the corner and dipping, stuff like that. So we've got a mix of young guys. We also have a veteran guy in F.A. Obata, who has the ability not just play an end, but he can also play the three technique and passing situations for us as well.
And today we saw Antonio returning some kicks. He obviously did that in college.
He did that in college, did it very well. In our situation, we're looking, if you have one guy just focus on kickoff, the other guy focus on punt return, that makes it a little simpler. And again, he was very explosive, very dynamic in college.
After yesterday's message after practice, pleased with the response today?
Very pleased, very much so. I really liked their attitude, liked the way they practiced. The tempo in which they practiced with was excellent. And that's really what we're looking for. Yesterday was more about just practicing smart. We had a couple shots that were taken that I didn't like, I didn't approve of, and do that in a game, and it might be something. Somebody might get in trouble for it. So I just wanted to emphasize that, hey, we're going to play like you practice, so let's practice smart.
The third down defense, from what you saw in the preseason game and what they dealt with last season too, just how do you guys get over the hump there, and just kind of what is your assessment of how?
Well, we'll continue to work with it, but one of the biggest things too, as I said, and it was a little bit of a stark thing, was when we went back and studied last season, one of the things we saw was our deficiencies in second down defense. We can't allow ourselves to be in 2nd and 10, then end up in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5. And that's where it begins. It starts with that. Keep the momentum, get them and keep them in 2nd and long. That'll help us. That'll increase our opportunities to keep them from converting. And then again, it's continue to challenge our guys. They're going to have to step up. Guys need to step up. We've changed some things as far as what we've done, or what we do, to fit a little bit more of that as far as being successful on 3rd down.
Benjamin St. Juste adjusting to his role. How is Benjamin St. Juste adjusting to his role?
I think Benjamin's adjusted very well. He's a very tall, linear guy, long arms, but he's very quick. He's quick in short spaces. That'll help us as far as, or at least we believe so, him playing the nickel position. He's adapted to it very nicely, very smart, bright football player who understands the concepts.
Kelvin Harmon, how's he looked after the past rough couple of years he's had, and what do you make of his training camp?
Well, Kelvin's looking good. He's competing, very competitive out there, a big target for us. A guy that has an opportunity.
What are some things that maybe you've changed, even maybe like a little subtly, to get a quicker read on guys as you're making these decisions on cuts? Are you able to get a quicker read on guys now?
I think so. Just knowing who they are for the most part. The current guys, the guys that we had last year, and then comparing them to the guys that we brought in. Part of it too is just seeing, who do you think has more upside? And a lot of it based on some of the things that we put on these guys in terms of, putting them under duress, in terms of what we've installed, what we've taught them, what we expect from them. That's another thing that we've got to find out as we go through this.
When you look at upside, what are the qualities for upside to say this guy has upside because? Is it physical? Is it mental? Where are you looking at?
I think it's a combination. I really do, John. I think when you look at a guy, if he's getting things, he's picking up things quickly, but yet he's still got to work his technique. Then you go, okay, wow. When you watch a guy that's technically sound, now you're sitting there saying, well, if he gets it, he'll be better. And you got to determine, will he get it? Will he ever get it? Because some guys just never seem to put it together.
Hey, Coach. It looked like Joe Theismann was out there today, and he was talking to Chase Young for a decent amount of time. What do you think that conversation entailed? What do you think he was trying to impart onto Chase?
Well, I think if there's anything, I think when our alumni come by and they get a chance to spend time with our guys, first and foremost, I hope they, just kind of reiterate, reinforce to them the rich tradition of this football organization. But I think, when Joe comes around, it's kind of fun to watch Joe interact with the guys. It really is about his experiences more so than anything else, and just what he's observed and what he's seen. So, like I said, I really do appreciate when the alumni come around.
Is he here in any official capacity, or just kind of hanging around the guys?
Joe's just around. It's and again, all our alumni are welcome, and it's just kind of cool to see them come here.
You mentioned yesterday having a hard time, carrying down the roster. If you're talking about the fifth running back or the sixth receiver, things like that. Have roles become more specific in the NFL since you've been a head coach? Does that make it harder?
I think the roles have become more specific, but again, you still got to make sure guys have position flex, though. We have a couple of guys that are great examples of the position flex, of being able to play more than one, and that increases their value. If a guy sits there and say, well, this is his role and this is his only role, then you have a lot of concern because we call them one-hole players. If he's not a starter, you've got to really think long and hard.
Why do you think it has become more specific?
I think just because the importance of having guys be able to do certain things in certain situations. This game's become very situational. Situational football is huge. I think the passing game has asked you to do a few more things that in the past you didn't really have to worry about. I mean, not just having a nickel, but having a buffalo nickel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could put your nickel in there, and if he's a small guy, and all of a sudden that slot position player is Larry Fitzgerald, who we used to face, and we had small nickel. Larry would just come in and dominate those guys, and then finding a big buffalo to put him out there on certain occasions, and he could get physical with a big guy. That helps.
Mike, last one.
Yeah, with Jennifer King, she had the opportunity to work the Shrine Bowl this offseason. I know she's filled in for Randy during the COVID time. How do you balance enjoying her while she's here, but also, knowing with all the assistants, you're trying to get them ready to go run a room themselves?
And that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping, that she continues to learn and grow. Yeah, every year, I think we've given her more and more responsibility to give her that opportunity. One of the really neat things about it is there's a little different rapport that she has as opposed to Randy. So I think she's done a great job, and it's kind of exciting to see, a woman get a true opportunity to grow and develop, because I think there will be a full-time positional coach eventually and shortly, too.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Cool. Thank you, guys.